Hey there everyone, Lord Fidget here with another episode of Aether Raid's Offense. Today we are covering the recently completed Light Season. I had a fairly smooth season myself. I did take one unfortunate loss. It was a rare case where I just didn't send in the right team for the job. Usually I cover such things like that during my planning phase, but this time I just didn't. And the enemy team made me pay for it. So you will see that, of course, on tomorrow's Aether Raid's Battle Dump. So for now, let's go ahead and get into today's matches. The first map is a fairly interesting abandoned castle setup. It uses Larcei and Edelgard on the front line to help dissuade attackers from using a player phase style approach. And in addition to that, they have player phase capabilities themselves, so those two, combined with the Fire Sweep Lyn, Bramimont, and Lysithea, help prevent enemies from just camping on the defense tiles. One of probably the biggest weakness I see for this map is the lack of reach. Because none of the units besides Eldigan has an assist, if you do have a unit that can pick off the Larcei, you can do that and simply retreat. Edelgard will advance and receive Eldigan's Refresh, but her reach is not quite as far as Bramimont or Lyn's, both of whom would be more threatening in this scenario. So it is not too difficult to land a hit on the Larcei and then just get all of your units out to safety. That's similar to the approach I used, so let's go ahead and get into that now. Alrighty, I've cooked up a rather strange-ish approach using these Celica and Layla raiding parties. Let me go ahead and get set up for that. First thing I will need to do is break the infantry school. Unfortunately, I can't really get to that bright shrine at all, which means that poor Layla is going to have to suffer those -6 offensive penalties. However, it should be okay. I actually found that she does not need to shake those off before being able to take down Larcei, so that is absolutely perfect. I suppose that's partially due to the fact that Larcei herself is afflicted by Tamari's penalties, which are roughly the same magnitude. So let me go ahead and just refresh air here. And I think I am going to want to reposition Peony out with Layla. This is Layla's. This is where she needs to be to kick things off. I think I'll be able to do this next turn then.
Waiting for orders.
Possibly. It depends on whether she needs Peony to be in the same column. I guess I should double check that once the player phase comes around. I did do the initial calculations with Peony in the same column. Okay, so it looks like she is actually able to do this. So let me go ahead and kick things off now. I'll have her take down Larcei. And then, after she swaps with Celica, I will be able to refresh Layla from the spot below her. And then Peony's Gentle Dream bonus will allow her to warp to Celica to take out the Bramimont as well. I really just want to get as many enemies out of the way as I possibly can here on the player phase. And then to get units to safety, I can reposition Layla out with Celica. And take advantage of the fact that Edelgard is going to be receiving the refresh instead of Lysithea or Lyn, who would have more reach than Edelgard. Those two units would have been able to actually get to Layla, and Lysithea with being the big threat. I don't think Lyn actually has the offensive punch to one-round KO her. But fortunately, since Edelgard has no assist, she receives the refresh, and Celica is able to eliminate her. She didn't receive her solo skill, but it doesn't really matter because her solo is speed res, neither of which she needs for the Edelgard matchup. Layla is fortunately able to take out both Lysithea and Lyn here. Makes me really wish that that I had a Layla image to add on the left of the sidebar, because she is carrying this map. So let's go ahead and boot air up with Creed, take out the Aether Amphorae, and I think maybe not immediately now, but well, actually this should be fine because I have plenty of options.
Right.
I could finish the job with Peony, probably even, or after this, actually Layla is probably able to secure the KO. I just need to reposition her in with Celica so she can be refreshed. I think I will go ahead and let her do that.
I'll keep looking.
The second map is an infantry pulse style setup. There is a rally element with Ophelia carrying rally up attack plus, but it's not really a rally up. It's not really a rally trap, sorry, because there's no warp involved. She can't position herself to better attack an enemy that tries to execute a bait attempt. Ultimately, there's no way her range would be extending further than the two Bramimon's existing ranges. And I mean, she doesn't, since she has an assist, she doesn't even move before either Bramimon or Lysithea. So there's that. I would say that structurally speaking, there's really nothing structurally weak about the map. I would say that probably your best bet would be to isolate one of the two refreshers and then try and bait the either Lysithea or the Bramimond that on the side of the refresher that you isolated. That will force out the rally from Ophelia. She will receive the refresh, and then you will only need to deal with that one mage on the enemy phase. Still, it's an infantry pulse setup. Those Bramimon specials hit really hard, so that's just something to note. And with that, let's go ahead and get into my approach. I'm going to go ahead and send in the Sita raiding party for this battle. Sita has proven herself capable of dealing with Bramimon's setup similar to these ones, so I just need to get ready by breaking some things so I can provide her the proper support. I will be taking on both Bramimons and Lysithea on the player phase when I do choose to initiate, and I will just let her tank the Ophelia. Fortunately, due to the power of Tamari, the Ophelia special damage is reduced quite heavily, and Sita's own high resistance that cannot be afflicted by chills or the Dark Shrine, since Azura takes those instead, will be more than capable of handling that damage, especially since there's no other heavy hitters available to take her on. The Ninian does have Triangle of Death, but her attack is too low for it to really matter, and she does take the Frostback penalties from Nils, which is unfortunate, but she will still be able to survive things handily. I have calculated all that out. Alright, so I did want to quickly double-check that matchup against Lysithea, but unfortunately it looks like she will need to be in the same column as Peony. That's really no trouble, since that's the untrapped space anyway, and I just need to ensure that I get that taken care of, and then I can refresh the air, and then reposition Azura out to safety. Don't want her taking the special. She cannot counterattack. So even though she might survive, then the Ophelia would get refreshed, and that could spell all sorts of trouble. So Nils does attack first. For some reason, I had it in my brain that Ophelia would attack first. I don't know why I thought that, since obviously the surviving units will be prioritized. So I don't know, just a weird slip there. Oh, the Minion of Light Breath. Shouldn't matter. No, it doesn't. When I was doing my calculations, Sita survived with just slightly below half HP, so even those light breath bonuses would not have been able to make up for the damage deficit Ophelia was having to deal with. So, actually, it looks like Sita is able to take out the Ninian, and I imagine also the Nils after she activates Gale Force. So let me go ahead and refresh air so that I can pick out the Fountain and have Sita finish the job. And that is it. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Aether Raid's Offense. Next week, we'll be going back into Astra Season. Naga is a bonus unit, so I will definitely be taking advantage of that. So we will have to see how that goes. It does, unfortunately, lower the amount of range I have on my teams, since she is a one-range unit with only 2 movement. We'll have to see how that goes. I mean, I've worked with such bonus units plenty of times before, so I don't think it'll go too badly. And of course, triple mythic never really hurts anyone, so we will have to see how that goes. Yeah, that's all I've got for you this week, so thank you all very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.